In the late 8th century, long, narrow ships began to slice through the freezing, treacherous waters of the North Sea. Appearing through the mist like phantom shadows, these vessels brought sheer terror and desperate screams to coastal towns as they drew near. Europe had never encountered such a force before. But who were these people whose names we still whisper with deep fascination and mystery more than 1,000 years after those bloody raids? And why do we still remember them through the lens of popular culture cliches? In the minds of most people, the word Viking conjures up the exact same cartoonish image: a savage, mud-caked barbarian wearing a horned helmet. Yet, historical and archaeological evidence completely shatters these pop culture tropes. Let's start with the biggest misconception. No Viking ever wore a horned helmet. Not a single horned cask has ever been found in a Viking grave. This image was born in the 19th century from the imaginations of costume designers and painters during Europe's romantic and nationalist art movements. In reality, warriors wore simple, oval iron helmets for protection. After all, in the heat of battle, having horns on your head would do nothing but give your enemy's axe a perfect handhold, a literal invitation to death. Furthermore, excavations have unearthed combs, tweezers, razors, and ear picks, proving that their hygiene standards were far ahead of their time. English chronicles explicitly complain that Viking men washed at least once a week, combed their hair regularly, and wore clean clothes, all to charm the local English women. What truly made the Vikings unique and dangerous was their master engineering. Built with clinker technology, their flexible and lightweight longships could both brave the massive waves of the open ocean and glide through shallow rivers like swans. This technological edge transformed them from mere ruthless raiders into the greatest explorers and merchants of their era. Their ability to read nature was just as awe-inspiring. To navigate the open seas, they tracked the flight paths of birds, followed the migration routes of whales, and used legendary sunstones to locate the sun even on overcast days. For them, the sea was not a barrier, it was a gateway to the edge of the world. Yes, they burned monasteries and brutally plundered coastlines. But on the flip side of the coin lay a colossal trade network, and the reaches of this network were staggering. The story of the Swedish Vikings, the Varangians, began in the east. Navigating river routes through modern-day Russia and Ukraine, these sailors connected to the silk and spice routes, reaching all the way to Baghdad via the Caspian Sea. Silks and silver coins brought from the Caspian quickly became symbols of luxury, even in remote Scandinavian villages. But their journey didn't end there. Advancing all the way to Constantinople, modern-day Istanbul, the Varangians formed the elite Varangian Guard, tasked with protecting the Byzantine emperors. Famed for their absolute loyalty, these warriors became the personal bodyguards of the ruler in the richest and most magnificent city of the era. In the West, the picture unfolded quite differently. When the ships of the Danish Vikings hit the shores of England, they didn't just settle for plunder, they built deep-rooted settlements and cities. Dublin, the capital of Ireland today, began its life as a Viking port. Meanwhile, the branch that settled in northern France eventually integrated with French culture, becoming known to history as the Normans. Their descendant, William the Conqueror, invaded England in 1066, laying the foundations of the modern British monarchy. This means that a distant branch of Viking blood still flows in the veins of today's British royal family. Their social structure was also centuries ahead of the world around them. Unlike medieval Europe, where women possessed virtually no legal rights, Viking women held immense power within society. They could request a divorce, inherit property, and manage their own estates. While men were away on month-long sea voyages, women were the absolute rulers of the farms, the economy, and the villages. Wearing the keys to the estate on their belts was not just practical, it was a symbol of high authority. In fact, female skeletons discovered in certain warrior graves, buried alongside weapons, suggest they may have fought in battle themselves, the legendary shield maidens of lore. While the Viking Age is officially recognized to have ended in the late 11th century, their mark on world history has never been erased.